A reading from the letter to the Hebrews. Prologue, Chapter 1, the final revelation of God's glory. In many ways and by many means in the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets, but in these last days, He has spoken to us in His Son, whom He appointed heir of all things and through whom He made the ages. He is the reflection of God's glory and the imprint of God's own being, sustaining all things by His powerful word. Now that He has made purification for sins, He has taken His seat at the right hand of the Majesty on high. So He is now far above the angels, as the name which He has inherited is more excellent than theirs. The Son is greater than the angels. Proof from the Scriptures. For to which of the angels has God ever said, "You are my Son. Today I have fathered you"? Or, "I shall be as a father to him, and he as a son to me"? Again, when He brings the firstborn into the world, He says, "Let all the angels of God worship Him." To the angels, He says, "He makes the winds His angels, and flames of fire His servants." But to the Son, He says, "Your throne, God, is forever and ever. And the scepter of His kingdom is a scepter of justice. You have loved righteousness and hated evil. This is why God, your God, has anointed you with the oil of gladness as none of your companions." And again, "In the beginning, Lord, you laid earth's foundations, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you remain. They will all wear out like a garment. Like a cloak, you will roll them up like a garment, and they will be changed. But you never alter, and your years will never end." To which of the angels has God ever said, "Take your seat at my right hand, till I have made your enemies a footstool under your feet"? Are they not all ministering spirits sent to serve for the sake of those who are to inherit salvation? The word of the Lord. A reading from the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 2, an exhortation. We ought then to turn our minds more attentively than before to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. If a message spoken through angels proved to be so firm, and every infringement and disobedience brought its proper punishment, how can we escape if we neglect so great a salvation? It was first announced by the Lord Himself, and is affirmed to us by those who heard Him. God himself confirmed their witness with signs and marvels and works of power of all kinds, and by distributions of the gifts of the Holy Spirit according to his will. Redemption brought by Christ, not by angels. He did not submit the world to come, about which we are speaking, to angels. Someone testified to this somewhere with the words, "What is a human being that you spare a thought for him? Or the Son of Man that you care for him? For you have made him little less than the angels. You have crowned him with glory and honor, putting all things under his feet." For in putting all things under him, he made no exceptions, leaving nothing that was not subjected. At present, it is true, we are not able to see that all things are under him. But we do see Jesus, who was made little less than the angels, now crowned with glory and honor, because he submitted to death, so that by God's grace he might taste death on behalf of everyone. It was fitting that God, for whom and through whom everything exists, should, in bringing many sons to glory, make perfect through suffering the pioneer of their salvation. For consecrator and consecrated have all the same Father. That is why he is not ashamed to call them brothers and sisters. In the text, "I shall proclaim your name to my brothers and sisters. In full assembly I shall praise you." Or in the text, "I shall put my trust in him." Or again, "Look, I and the children whom God has given me." Since then, all the children share the same flesh and blood, he too likewise shared the same things, so that by his death he could set aside him who held the power of death, namely the devil, and set free all those who had been held in slavery all their lives by the fear of death. For he does not come to help angels, but rather he comes to help the children of Abraham. It was essential that he should in this way be made completely like his brothers and sisters, so that he could become a compassionate and trustworthy high priest as regards their relationship to God, to expiate the sins of the people. For, having been tested by the suffering he underwent himself, he can help those who are being tested. Jesus, the trustworthy and merciful high priest. The word of the Lord.